So as you can tell, hopefully the wind's not too bad, because it would be rather irritating to go on this walk and this not work. But it's a little idea of, well, the best fragrances for a night, and obviously they'll follow some sort of pattern and some sort of story to make them all work. So obviously the fragrances we choose to wear on an evening for different purposes tend to be different for the ones we go for on a daytime. So first up on the list we have La Nuit de l'Homme Longtemps from Yves Saint Laurent. What that's referring to is a night when you're off out for some beers with your mates. It's sweet, it's violety, it's kind of a bit powdery, it's a bit floral, it's nothing too much, something that people will smell round you, you won't smell the same as everybody else. They kind of make an impression, and it's one of them sorts of fragrances where, you know, you may meet a lady, it may attract someone. So this night out, obviously you're out with your friends, so you just got to chat with her a bit at the bar, maybe swap your phone numbers. She can compliment you on that lovely dark, almost gothy kind of fragrance, because of course that will be, you know, perhaps the lady I'd sort of be wanting to attract. So yeah, for kind of beers out with her friends is Yves Saint Laurent La Nuit de l'Homme Longtemps. So next up is obviously going to be a kind of date night fragrance. For some reason this lady's decided to call you back. Maybe they have special payphones in the homes where the insane stay, or whatever. Anyway, she's give you a call back, and you decided to go for some sophisticated drinks, maybe a bit of dinner. So what would you go for with that? Well, for me, obviously I'd go for Kilian's Back to Black. Now this, if you don't know the fragrance, is basically this kind of honey and tobacco fragrance. Not honey tobacco, it's got a bit of both in it. It's got this really smooth cherry running through it. It's a little bit boozy, a little bit tobacco-y. It's very kind of sophisticated, so I give across that kind of impression that I'm sophisticated and smart and classy, so you can't go wrong with it really, can you? And obviously go to this beautiful cocktail bar, and she's going to get whiffs of this, and she's going to be kind of mesmerized and intoxicated by it, and she's going to think she's got a good one there. So yeah, you very politely kind of walk her back home, and again she's nuzzling that neck because you smell so good, and she's really enjoying that fragrance. So yeah, for the date night, which went very successfully, is Kilian's Back to Black. Now, after this very successful date, do you know what? She's called you back again. She said, "What are you doing tomorrow night, darling?" And you kind of go, "Well, nothing. Well, I need to check my diary and blah." Anyway, so she said, "Let's do something fun. Let's go clubbing." So obviously we need a good clubbing scent. I must admit, I'm completely lost here. That's by the by. A good clubbing scent. So what I go for that is from Jusbox, and I go for Sirens and Sailors. Now this is influenced by Amy Winehouse, and it is an absolutely, it's a magical, super sweet, very sweet, but not quite over the top, rose. And it's got this kind of boozy rose, as well as this kind of, it's different types of booze I think, but it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit synthetic smelling, but it's meant to be. It's not meant to be this natural rose. It's this big booming rose, raspberry, maybe a bit of strawberry, and a kind of touch of this plasticky leather in it. Again, it's not over the top, and it's very pleasant. It's very easy wear actually. And I think it's one of these fragrances that, again, not everybody in the club's going to be smelling of. She's going to know it's you, she's going to be proud, she's going to be wanting to, you know, give it some dancing like we used to do back when we were young, you know, a bit of you know. So I think the perfect scent for going out clubbing, or what would it be, the second date, would be Sirens and Sailors from Jusbox. So the next phone call you get the next day, she's just like, look John love, let's cut the crap, let's have a bit of nookie, let's just have a good time, a night. Let's cut out the drinks and the small talk, just come over here, I need you now. So, well, you know, what would I go for with that now, bearing in mind, you know, she's my sort of lady, she's all in black and velvet and purples, so, you know, I'd need something that kind of shows her I'm a bit of a kind of dark, you know, dangerous, seductive person myself. So I've gone for Canto, Lucrethia. See in Italian, or Canto, Lucrethia. And basically this is kind of, how do you describe it, an upmarket black opium. Now I know you can't imagine black opium even better, but this does improve on it. It's an extract, and it's got the same coffee kind of and jasmine floral kind of touch to it. It's very seductive, it's very beautiful. It even has a slight kind of boozy edge, probably from the rich vanilla, and it's dark, and again it's going to be one of these, it doesn't boom off you, so it's going to bring her close to you and close to you, on nibbling on your skin and rubbing against you. So for kind of intimate and counter fragrance, I've gone for Canto, Lucrethia, or Canto, Lucrethia. Now next up on the list, well, come on, this is me. It didn't go particularly well, did it, this date? Don't get me wrong, it was a wild night, fun had by both, until she bit me. Yes, she bit me. And obviously this was going to happen. Maybe it was my dream all along, maybe I just knew. But she bit me, so I became a bit of a creature of the night. Now my fragrance to kind of represent my kind of going out on the prowl evening looking for some necks is not Noir de Noir. I thought I'd choose something a bit different than that, and I've gone for Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood. And the reason I've gone for that is, maybe I wouldn't be the most seductive, charming vampire, but I'd still be a great vampire. I'd just be a bit more colourful with a violet. Now obviously Oud Satin Mood is this really kind of dark, a little bit dry, a little bit kind of rich with the oud, and obviously it's got that beautiful, silky, smooth violet running through it, which makes it an absolutely addictive, very kind of beautiful dark scent. And again, I would imagine if there were creatures of the night as an alternative to all the kind of popular, you know, mass appealing kind of vampy guys out there, Oud Satin Mood would be a good alternative. So for my kind of creature of the night fragrance is Oud Satin Mood from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. So after a good night of feeding and contemplating the last week and just how tragic most of my relationships are, you need a kind of pondering scent. One of them scents where you're looking up at a full moon and a sky full of stars, just kind of contemplating the world going by. And for that I've chose Masque Milano Mandala. Again, this is not, it's not overly spiritually kind of incense. It's not that sort of incense fragrance actually. It's got a good amount of sweetness and kind of fullness about it. Obviously there's a lot of florals in there, but the Immortelle gives it this really kind of interesting facet of kind of this thick but fresh greenness going in it. It is very fresh, it is a little bit green, but it's also got the sweetness and the darkness. There's a lovely plum running through it. I think that plum And that sweetness from that is kind of the star of this, what makes it stand out as an incense fragrance. It's also, with the dark plum, it's very gothy as well, again, isn't it? That kind of dark reddy purple. And it's just a really beautiful fragrance, and I think that will be the perfect one to kind of contemplate, looking up at the universe, what has happened and what has become of you. So for my contemplation fragrance is Masque Milano's Mandala. And to end it all, not literally, because obviously I'm not going to go commit vamp suicide, am I? Would be a fragrance to kind of go for a very long rest and a very long sleep in a nice snug little box away from the world, maybe sleep for a century before I come out again and, you know, reveal myself to the world. And what I've gone for with that is Joop. You knew it was coming, didn't you? And that's because it's Joop. In 100 years' time, when people probably, well, they may still be wearing it, because I think it's that good, but maybe they've forgotten what fragrance is. Maybe it's overrun with aliens, the world, or something. So you need to introduce them to something from the old days, something very revered and loved at the time. And Joop is going to get you some attention when you come back, isn't it? Everyone's going to want to smell you, everyone's going to be intrigued by you. What I'd say, what does Joop smell like if you don't know? It's a very sweet orange blossom, cherry kind of vibe to it, raspberry, vanilla. It's not the most kind of natural smelling fragrance in the world, let's say, but it is very statement making, very sweet, very loved. So for my kind of long sleep fragrance, we've gone for Joop. So obviously this video was just a bit of fun, just a different way of talking about nighttime fragrances and fragrances that we wear on an evening time, because we all have them. Obviously I'm not going to tag anyone, but everyone is tagged if you like. You don't have to use the same kind of scenarios as I did. You can make up your own, or just have 5 evening time fragrances. Completely up to you. Like I say, it's just a bit of fun, and these lists could get a bit repetitive and a bit tedious. Let's try to throw a few different fragrances in there and a few different ideas. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. What would you wear for an evening time? What would you wear for any of these scenarios? I mean, it's all perfectly possible that it could happen one day, isn't it? Alright, thanks folks, bye.